Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Leah. I hope this Thursday night finds you well. It is muggy as anything out here at Willow Grove, but not as hot as it has been for a while. So it has been good firefighting weather, I have been assured by my husband, who has been out fighting those fires along with the rest of the amazing Delp Forest firefighter crews for the last few weeks. Our CFA volunteers as well, the contractors, you've got to do a shout out to them. They're all doing an incredible job at the moment, working some really long hours. Tonight, rather than answer questions tonight, I want to touch on 3 fears. And they come off the back of my Shut the Hell workshop last night in Traralgon. It was a great night, a really awesome group of people, really diverse. And I always find that with the self-doubt workshop. And I think that just goes to highlight that point that self-doubt really is something that we all experience, whether you're male or female, in a management or leadership position or unemployed, whether you're doing well with your mental health or you're not doing well with your mental health. Self-doubt is something that can be there for all of us, and it is there for all of us. So 3 fears that I want to talk about tonight. The first one's fear of judgment, second is fear of failure, and the third is fear of success. And all 3 feed our self-doubt. Okay, so let's get into fear of judgment first. Something that came up at last night's workshop, and it comes up with a lot of people that I speak to, is a real fear of judgment, of what will other people think of me. And it manifests in a few ways. I have spoken to a few people recently who have expressed a real fear of being out on their own in terms of what will other people think of me. People who struggle to walk into a restaurant or a shop on their own because they think everyone will turn around and look at them and be judging them. People that, would love to go and see a movie, but they've got no one to go with, so they won't go because the thought of going on their own, well, what will everyone there think of me? It's a really common fear. So here's the thing about fear of judgment and what's everyone thinking of me when I go out on my own or do that thing. No one's thinking about you at all. That is the reality. It's the reality. And if I say that and you think to yourself, oh, come on, Leah, you're just saying that to make me feel better. I ask you this. When you're so caught up in your own headspace, thinking, oh my gosh, what's everyone thinking of me when I walk into this restaurant? Oh, they're all judging me. Are you thinking about anyone else in that restaurant? Are you judging anyone else? Or are you so caught up in your headspace that that's all you can think of? Because here's the thing. We're all doing that. We are all the hero in our own story. We are all the center of our own attention, okay? Even those of us who are really considerate and care about other people, we're all so caught up in our own thought process and what we're doing. If you walk into a restaurant on your own and we look up, we're not thinking, oh, gee, why is she there on her own? We're thinking, oh, is that is that the person I was out for dinner with? Or, oh, who's that? The doorbell rang. And then we're going back. We're not giving you being alone another thought. We're really not. And again, the way to think of that is, what are you thinking about? Are you judging all these other people, or are you caught up in your own thoughts? Because the reality is people just don't care that much, just like you don't care that much. And I'm not saying you don't care about other people, but those little things that we get so caught up in, what will people think of me if I turned up on my own? The reality is they're not thinking at all. Now, I have written, hello to those of you who have joined. I have written a few times now on my blog about the joy of doing things on your own. I cannot recommend it more highly, not just because you can get out there and do things whether other people want to or not, but for the confidence that it gives you. As a lot of you know who know me quite well, when I was 21, I took off around Australia for a year on my own in my little 3-door Hyundai with a tent in the back. And I traveled this beautiful country for just over 12 months on my own. And it was the time of my life. I would go to restaurants on my own and read a book in the restaurant. I will still do that now sometimes. I would go to the movies on my own. I did everything on my own. And you know what? I made the most amazing connections because it was outside your comfort zone. You didn't have that friend to default to. So you don't have to go take off around the country on your own. But give something a crack solo, because I can guarantee you people are not wondering what you're doing on your own in a judgmental way. They're just caught in their own thoughts. The other thing about fear of judgment is when it is judgment from family members. You know, maybe you've got a business idea or there's something you've been thinking about and you think, oh yeah, but I get the eye rolls from my uncle because, why would I want to go start a business or go to university? Who does that? Now, here's the thing. In those cases, absolutely, there are people who will judge you. But guess what? They are going to judge you whether you do that thing you want to or not. Okay? They'll judge you for whatever it is that you're doing in your life. So do not give away your power and let them dictate whether you do that thing or not. Don't let that feed your self-doubt. Once you realize that, you know what, I can't control what you think of me and you will judge me regardless, well, hey, you may as well get out there and have a crack. And for those of you who saw my post this morning about my new business values, have a crack is one of my core values because, I know it's cliched. We only live once, okay? Or I read a beautiful quote this morning. It was one of those Winnie the Pooh quotes, and it says, actually, no, we don't only live once. We only die once. We live every day, okay? Cliched, I know, but something to think about. Hi, Rowan. Hi, Tanya. And hi, Sal. You meet so many more people traveling on your own. I'm a huge advocate for it. And I'll put the post I wrote about traveling on your own in the comments after we finish up tonight. Okay, after fear of judgment, fear of failure. Massive one, comes up all the time. But what if I try that thing? What if I have a crack and it goes pear-shaped and I fall flat on my face? What then? Yeah, you might. That's the reality. You might fail. You might. But if you want to achieve anything in life, you have to get prepared to fail, because most of the things that you want to do are outside your comfort zone. Most of the cool things, whether it's going for a promotion at work, whether it's trying something new in your personal life, going, trying to do a run, whatever it is, okay, they're outside your comfort zone and you might fall flat on your face, but you won't know if you don't try, right? So some people say to me, well, Leah, that is a very good reason why I should stay in my comfort zone, because then I'm comfortable and then I don't have to try these things and I don't push out and I just live my day and the self-doubt's not as strong. Yeah, absolutely. You are right. But like I said, there are probably a whole heap of things that you want to do in your life that are outside your comfort zone. So you can live in your comfort zone and you will be comfortable, but you will also likely be miserable. You will likely have that self-doubt become overwhelming because, geez, if only I had the confidence to do this, if only I, believed in myself enough. Here's the thing, you don't need to believe in yourself. You just need to start. Even though you're scared, ask yourself what's the worst that could happen, because our fear of what could happen is almost always worse than the reality of what would happen. Okay, the most successful people don't get there because they just succeed. Awesome. They get there because they persist. They try, they fail, they try again, they learn, they grow. There's that beautiful saying, it's only failure if you don't try in the first place or you don't learn from your mistakes, okay? Remember Forget the failure, remember the lesson, okay? It's so super important. This is something, it's really easy to roll this all out, right? And, you know, great, Leah, you're giving me some motivation. I've got to say, fear of failure used to be debilitating for me. Absolutely debilitating. So when I talk about this stuff, I get it. I look very confident, and I am a confident person. I'm out there having a crack. I wasn't always this way. My perfectionism and incredibly high expectations on myself were debilitating in my teenage years. I wouldn't try something if I didn't think I'd be good at it, because I was so caught up in needing to be excellent at everything that I did that I would stay in my comfort zone of what I knew I was good at and not try something that I might be average at, or God forbid, crap at, okay? So I was terrified. The day I went for my license, which was on my 18th birthday, hi to those who have just joined. The day I went for my license on my 18th birthday, I was an A+ student, never failed anything in my life. I failed my driver's license that day, and I did it because I got to an intersection, I looked, there was no sign, so I slowed right down, and then I indicated and turned the corner. And the driving instructor said, can you pull over, please? And I thought, oh, okay, what's he going to talk to me about now? And he said, did you see that stop sign back there? And I said, what are you talking about? There was no sign. And he said, there was, but it was back from the intersection a bit. And I hadn't seen it, and I was gutted. And the worst part was, he said, you're going to have to get out of the car, because if you don't stop at a complete stop at a stop sign, you're not allowed to continue the drive. So absolutely humiliated, sobbing, I was driven back to Vic Roads in Morwell, and I was mortified. Now, I swore my mum to secrecy because I'd never been so embarrassed in all of my life. I managed to get booked in for later that day. This was back in the day where you could do that. I got booked in for later that day. I went back, did the test again, the driving test, and I passed. The only people who knew were my parents. My sisters weren't told. My boyfriend at the time, you know, who I'd been together with for like 4 years, he wasn't told. No one is to mention this because of how humiliating. That was my response to failure as an 18-year-old. Now, I can laugh about it now, but I get it, okay? Remember, the most successful people only get to where they are because they persist. Everyone fails. The people who are out there doing the best things in life have stuffed up multiple times along the way. So you need to train yourself to embrace failure. It's not comfortable, it's not fun, but it is how you learn and improve. Last one tonight before I sign off is fear of success. And I love talking about this one because it's probably not spoken about as much, because people get that fear of judgment and fear of failure, you know, really common. However, a fear of success can also feed that little voice of self-doubt in your head, particularly in Australia, because what we have talked about so many times, tall poppy syndrome, where other people will tear you down if you shine too brightly. And as a result of that being an ingrained part of our culture here in Australia, we hold ourselves back and we actually get scared of success. Because if we put ourselves out there in some workplaces, other people will tear us down. Who do you think you are? You're getting a bit big for your boots. There can be gender stereotypes. There can be age discrimination. You know, you're too young to be a leader. You know, you might be leading a team of people who are older than you. Well, what the hell do you know? Other people will try to push you down and try to dampen that. And the thing is that then it leads to this real fear of success. And to that, I ask you all who are watching this to ask yourself a question. Have you ever held yourself back or tried less than your best to make someone else comfortable? because I can almost guarantee every one of us has done that at times, where we've gone, I'll hold myself back a bit because I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. Now, I'm not saying, you be obnoxious and, throw things in people's faces. But imagine if we all held ourselves back like that, and a lot of people do. I won't put myself out there and try that thing because people will think I'm up myself. Okay, so this fear of success can be as debilitating because we cut ourselves down. We're so conscious that other people will cut us down that we do it for them and we don't even try the thing, and it feeds our self-doubt. So 3 fears tonight: fear of judgment, fear of failure, and fear of success. I want you to think about whether those 3 things are holding you back, whether your little voice of self-doubt is going with those fears. If it is, don't beat yourself up. It's totally normal. But what I challenge you to do is find some strategies for controlling them. You can retrain your brain. It's called neuroplasticity. It's hard, but it can be done. And how do you do it? Baby steps. Baby steps, getting outside your comfort zone. So you fear judgment, pick something small. Go into that shop or that restaurant on your own. Take yourself out to the movies, okay? Do something small. And I know for some of you that's really big, so pick something even smaller. For fear of failure, try something new. You might not fail, but try something. Again, it can just be small. Something maybe that you've been putting off. You'll only get better. If it's a move at the gym or lifting a certain heavy weight, you're never going to get it if you don't try. And fear of success, people will tear you down whether you shine brightly or not. They'll try. You're not going to let them know. Okay? So next time you feel yourself making yourself smaller to try to make someone else feel better, really question yourself on that. You can do it modestly. Okay, I'm not saying big note yourself, but don't hold yourself back for someone else. Cheers, everyone. Have a great night. If you've got any comments or things this has raised for you that you'd like to chat about, please put it in the comments below, and I will be adding that link in to a couple of those blog posts that I referenced tonight. Have a great night, everyone. Cheers.